Alright. Leaving Froki's shack. Got our Diadem of the Savant, and got our quest to go kill the Guardian Skeever and the Guardian Mud Crab and other stuff like that. I was mentioning at the end of the last video that I had never followed that quest completely out. I don't think I have. He mentioned moving on to harder enemies later, and don't really know what all that entails. I'm thinking about investigating that a little bit in this one. Never really paid much attention to what the guy said. I'm usually here just for the circlet that we picked up, but I'm thinking about actually following out that quest. If we stumble across these various guardian animals and stuff, to see where this leads. I'm assuming there will be eventually a guardian bear. Oh, probably a guardian saber. Probably. I'm just guessing. Wonder if there'll be a guardian mammoth. That might be something. Anyway, I don't know. But yeah, we might follow that out. Just kind of see as we go. Froki let me keep his bow. Come to think of it, I'm sitting here looking at this hunting bow. I'm not a big fan of this either. I might just go back to the old regular long bow. Just keep it just basic and simple. Iron weapons and a longbow. Matter of fact, I think I actually am going to do that. Because, to be honest, neither of them looks particularly awesome or anything. There's our dragon buddy. We'll be killing in a second. Good thing is he'll be providing us the soul we need to unlock the shout that we're about to get right here. And this is my favorite shout in the game. In fact, when I was first making YouTube videos and did a few Skyrim videos, I did one specifically on the Marked for Death, and even went out and did a little trial run with it, some testing and stuff. I'm trying to remember what level I was in that, somewhere in the 20s or something. Anyway, I had all 3 shouts unlocked and went up by close to where Zura Star is, where there's a dragon that likes to spawn up there. Dragon Wall, where you get, I think, one of the ice shouts, ice breath or something like that. Anyway, there's a lot of higher levels, of course. There's a lot of, like, what is it, the White Wolves or whatever. Snowy sabers, stuff like that. Higher level animals and stuff to go mess with. Of course, bears and stuff like that too. Whatever I could find. And I basically went and did a save and fought them without the Marked for Death shout, and then turned around and fought them with the Marked for Death shout and showed the absolute difference. I mean, it's really a lot of shouts. Like say you have ice and fire breath, firestorm, and all the various things like that. They'll deal damage of one sort or another, but they're kind of the damage dealer in and of themselves. What Marked for Death is basically a setup shout. If you're using ranged, or you're using some other kind of magic, or you're using melee like my character here. Well, I use ranged also. You hit them with that, and it basically softens them up. But the trick to this particular shout is to let it simmer for a little bit. Basically soften them up over time, kind of like pouring acid on armor. Give it a second to eat through, and then, voila, the armor's gone. And that's really kind of how it works, too. Is it basically reduces all enemy armor, and at one point it even seems to start deteriorating their health. Now, I think there's another shout that came with one of the DLCs or something that will actually absorb some of that health for you, too, or something like that. I think what it steals from them, it gives you a little bit of it, or something like that. I don't know. It's like Soul Leech or something. Let me think. What am I thinking of? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Marked for Death in and of itself, you'll see once you get all 3 tiers unlocked, the longer you let it sit, the more it will just break down and utterly just decimate any kind of defenses the enemy has. And you can take a Draugr Deathlord or something, and hit them with that, and as long as you just set back for a second, if you hit them with that and immediately go to just swinging on them, you're going to see very little, if any, difference in the damage you do. But if you hit them with that shout and then, get busy doing something else, go fight someone else, go do something else, whatever, move around a little bit, hide behind a corner, something, and let it set for a minute, when you come back, each time you hit them, you're going to see chunks of their health just disappear. I mean, I'm not saying you can necessarily two-shot a Draugr Deathlord on Legendary here with an Iron Sword, but maybe, depending on how long you let it sit, but you'll actually see them glow, and you can see it sitting there eating away at them. Anyway, it's a really fun shout to use. I don't know. It's my favorite, anyway. Like I say, with with the DLCs, they've got some other shouts that are a lot like it. They look similar. They act similar. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of difference. Like I said, I think one of them may leech a little bit of health or something like that. But maybe the one that dragon in the Dawnguard DLC, he's like the undead dragon or the ghost dragon or something that you meet in the Oblivion section. I don't know. We'll probably actually get to that. I'm thinking about doing a lot of the Dawnguard stuff. I don't know how long we'll stretch this out. Skyrim it's not quite endless, but pretty close. I mean, it's not like there's any shortage of stuff to do and things to explore. Alright, well, might as well go ahead and start this. Just a heads up, this is going to be epic and really, really long. I had really contemplated cutting out most of this dragon fight. In fact, at one point, I even had to pull off to the side to change clips. Because I literally ran out of room on this one. Had to extend it. This fight, like, literally goes on all day. You're going to see the sunset on this fight. Yeah, Thing is, I don't really have anything. It'd be nice if I would have had a little forethought to put some frost on a bow. Which is what I would have done. True enough, this one wound up being a fire dragon. I can't think of ever coming here and facing anything but a fire-based dragon. Like this time it's a blood dragon. It doesn't always say that. It can be various kinds of dragons, but they always seem to use fire. I've never come up against a frost dragon here. Maybe it's just, you know, luck or whatever, or bad luck. So anyway. And a little frost on this bow would have served me well. It would have honestly probably done more damage than the bow itself. Oh, okay. Well, why don't you just go ahead and get turned on then? All right. All right, so one full shot from this dude's fire can kill me not quite instantly, but real close. Especially if I catch it full on in the face. You're going to see me utilize this tower quite a bit. I'm sure there's probably other ways to do this or whatever, but seeing as I'm going to have to pound away at this guy for about the next 30 minutes or so, and he only has to one-shot me, yeah, that's... I'm not going to say this fight is really balanced, but I'm not sure where he's going. I usually fight him right there at the top of the tower, but apparently... Uthgerd must have hung back and drawn his threat. Okay, well that's fine. We'll fight him out here. What do you think of that view? Isn't that amazing? You see Skyrim just stretching out before you, and what I love about this is if you see it, you can go there. Like, oh, what's that way over there? Well, go find out. You know, go do that, whatever it is, and then whatever you find there, well, you know, then do that, and it's awesome, man. I wonder if he can reach me from here. Yeah, probably. That answers that question. So at least I have some cover. Yeah, and it's kind of shitty of them to giving me a blood dragon here. These guys, I don't know if they have more health, but these guys always seem harder to kill. They always seem to hit harder, and they seem to have more health than another dragon of. I'd rather fight an ancient or an elder than fight a blood dragon. I'm not kidding. These guys just seem to hit really, really hard. Fought enough of these guys. I don't think it's my imagination. Now, he's probably completely immune to fire, but this does gives me an opportunity to exercise my summoning a little bit. I could just as easily summon a familiar, a wolf, but he would just be running around looking up in the sky snarling. Not that these fireballs are probably doing any more to this dragon than my wolf just looking at him would, but whatever. Doesn't matter. It's all good. Try to exercise some skills that I'm at least going to be using as often as I can. Make an effort, like, say I get some iron ore, to go ahead and turn it into silver and gold ore, unless I need to make something iron, of course, but in that case, just get some iron ingots, you know, or whatever. But, you know, that exercises my alteration, which I never use. I can't think of any spell other than transmute mineral ore that I use alteration for, personally. Probably would if I was running a mage-type character. There'd probably be some use and something I could do in maybe a mage build, but with this character, I've never used it for much of anything, and so having an opportunity to exercise that and make some money, you know, making silver and gold I mean, that's just a win-win. But in a case like this, true enough, maybe my summons won't do any good. Look at that, just that fast from that distance, up close, just right up in his face. That was probably just death right there. I have no doubts. Yeah, but anyway, like this right here, this is all counting towards a summoning. And about the time this summons wears out, I think my Flame Atronach is as immune to his fire as he is to my Atronach's fireballs. Yeah, about the time this summons is gone, my magic will be back up and I can just summon another one. This way, I don't have to stop and pull off to the side and step out of the game. Get out of the immersion. Get out of my fun zone there while I'm playing to go do something to grind, you know. Then you got the whole MMO type thing going on there where, you know, like Conjuration, you go find a dead body to cast Soul Trap on, some, you know, dead bandit or something. Or, you know, to raise your werewolf skills, you go hunt down all the level 1 bandit caves you can find just to kill all the bandits real quick and feed off of them. So, you know, and stuff like that. And it's a grinding type of thing. It's not in the game. It's something you have to kind of step out to do. Taking Shadowmere off into some quiet place so that you can cast fire traps or fire runes down at his feet and set them off with ice and stuff to raise your destruction skill and stuff. You know, I mean, there's a trick for everything. I know what they are. I'm not a big fan of that. You know, now in a game like an MMO, like say Elder Scrolls Online, which I'm playing the crap out of right now. That's why some of these videos come out later in the evening, because I'm either still dead asleep or going in and signing into my character so I can train my horse or something, and then jump on here to edit a video for you guys. But anyway, in an MMO, that's one thing. I mean, grinding is that's part of it. I mean, that's what extends the game from being a 60-hour game, turning it into a 400-hour game type of thing. One that you almost dedicate your life to. And I guess I see it. A lot of MMO players, they make the content in such that what seems like simple things, say like smithing or something, it turns it into this epic thing that takes weeks and months. And so I've actually seen some you know, Skyrim players and stuff like that, and other RPG type players trying to pick up ESO because it has a very Skyrim feel. The combat is very Skyrim, the world is a little more Oblivion, and some of the questing is just very fetch and grab MMO type stuff. In fact, some of it's even annoying, right? But there's so much of it that I can take the bitter with the sweet, because there's a lot more good than there is bad in that. Yeah, there's some bugs and things like that, and I'm not even gonna get into that. The good far outweighs the bad in that game. But a lot of players I see getting into it, and they drop it real quick because after they get away from the initial, oh, I get to create my character, look at my good-looking character, I'm gonna come out here, shoot my bow, swing my sword, then when you realize that there's a lot of thought and planning and hundreds of hours of time required to dedicate to your character to get all the stuff that would make you at least semi-competitive, especially if you're talking about doing some PvP type stuff. You need to learn crafting. You need to learn how to build a particular set of gear with a particular kind of with particular traits that fit your particular build and how you want to do it, and that any misstep might cost you thousands of gold, which may cost you hours to earn, to go, you know, respec and redo and reconfigure stuff, and then you experiment with this, you think this is a good idea, but that doesn't work, and so you completely start from scratch. Once you finally find a build that you really like, then you got to think about the gear for that build, and like materials for gear. You know, there's various grades of gear. You got everything from white all the way up to what is it, legendary or gold, okay, and everything in between. And it takes increasing amounts of materials to upgrade your gear to that particular level. So once you get to a certain level where you say, okay, I'm going to stick with this gear here, I'm going to go ahead and buff this up and make a, you know, make a solid character here, you realize that all along you hadn't spent the 200 or 300 hours in blacksmithing required to gather all your materials and break down stuff so you can make your own things. Okay, well, so you go to buy it. Well, now you realize it costs you $250,000 gold, and you only have 3,000 in the bank, and so now you got to go find another 247,000 gold somehow. Either way, you're going to go put in the legwork, and players, you know, look desperately for shortcuts and stuff, especially the MMO players, because they understand you're going to want to do some shortcuts, but the bottom line is you're still going to be putting the hours in one way or another. You're going to grind it out. Even if you buy buffs, even if you buy XP gains, even if you buy this and buy that, you're still going to do some legwork. And I think a lot of RPG players, they come in that don't really have experience with MMOs, and I'm not speaking from some great position of experience with MMOs. I wasn't World of Warcraft player and all that. Okay, so in full respect to those guys who have 200,000 hours into a single character on World of Warcraft, and they switch over to ESO and they start applying those same principles and that same patience with grinding and stuff. And if it's not fun to you, it's going to be work. And if it's work, you're eventually going to stop doing it, especially if you're not getting paid for it, right? So I get some players pulling away, but for those who enjoy the grind and realize that the scope of ESO is about 10 billion times bigger than a Skyrim single-player RPG type thing. This, it seems big, and you say, well, I get 60 to 100 hours or more out of Skyrim. That's a pretty big game. When you go to ESO, it's got 45 times the map space, 10,000 times the number of quests, a million extra things to do, and then once you're done with the game, you realize you just begun. But you got all this extra stuff, then they throw in PvP and all this, and you're like, holy crap, it's overwhelming. Some friends of mine, even trying to play, they even use that word. They say, this is overwhelming. This is a lot of stuff to learn, and it is. It's not something you get in 5 minutes if you're totally new to it. You sit around, you wait, and you listen, and you become part of the community, and that's another big reason for that. Is MMOs are a community thing, massive multiplayer online. It's for a lot of people to get in and either get along or not. And yeah, you have the bickering, you have the drama and stuff, but when you get good guys together, a good crew, and you're working together, everyone's helping each other, you're doing dungeons, you're going PvP, you're got a little communication going, it becomes really, really fun. And you make friends like that, and then where you're lacking in gear and where you're lacking in experience and stuff like that, you can, if you're not afraid to ask questions, well, I might sound stupid well, you're definitely stupid if you don't ask the question. Just ask it. What are they going to do? Call you dumb for a second? Okay, well, get over it, right? But if you'll get in there and learn a little bit, there are actually some things you can learn in that game which will help you with a lot of other games also. Certain mentality, a certain mindset, like the whole group mindset, the whole tank healer DPS thing going on and stuff. I utilize that a little bit here in Skyrim. If you'll notice, if you've been watching this playthrough up to this point, and if you watch the rest of it, you'll see me using Uthgerd, as I am right here at this moment, as something of a tank. She's drawing the hate, drawing the threat. When the threat gets on me, I need to get it back on Uthgerd. I need to either allow her to attack and draw that threat, or get out of the way and let the enemies divert their attention to her, because I can't take the heat. It's not a lack of skill type thing. It's just a simple fact is I have to put 5,000 arrows in this dragon. He only has to hit me once. You got to balance that somehow, and so you get your tank going, and it's that type of mentality. Very vanilla version of that here, but it's that same type of thinking that works, And so you get into a much bigger game like ESO, and you're working with other people. Now you're not relying on AI to do their job, but now you have to have players who can tank and think for themselves and work together as a group and stuff. And a lot of players find that a lot of fun. But if you don't know what to expect going into ESO, thinking, oh, this is just co-op Skyrim, yeah, sorry, there's a much higher learning curve than that. You come to Skyrim, 99% of it is done for you. And there's a lot of things you don't have to do. You just walk up to an enchanting table and magically you know how to do it. Okay, well, ESO, not so much. You want enchanting, you're going to have to go collect all your runes out in the wild in a world that's about 10 times bigger here than Skyrim and Cyrodiil put together, right? And go find all your stuff. And then once you've got it, then you've got to learn to use it. And then once you've done that, then you just got to do that about 10,000 times to get the skill and experience you need to actually make whatever you want to make. Or you could just say, screw that, and just go out and make gold and have other players who have put in the legwork do it for you. And that's what an economy is about. You pay people to do stuff you're too lazy to do for yourself. I mean, I guess that's just the bottom line of it. So there you have it. So, if anyone, we're playing Skyrim, why are you bringing this up? Well, because I'm sitting here doing a half-hour dragon fight with not much to talk about. So if you're going to talk about ESO for a minute, big reason is it's very Skyrim related. You're going to get a lot of Skyrim and even Oblivion and probably some Morrowind feels out of playing it, because you visit all those areas. You do have the Skyrim lands, not just Skyrim itself, but all the areas around it. Then you have the Daggerfall lands and all that around it. Then you have down there in the Dominion lands, south of Cyrodiil, southwest of Cyrodiil, you have all those areas there where the Altmer and the High Elves are and stuff like that. And then you have Cyrodiil itself, so it's huge game. So, but you get all those feels, like the music and the combat and a lot of the dialogue. Some of the questing, most of the questing, but not all of it. Some of the questing is just like mindless, stupid. Why did you ask me to walk 5 feet over here and walk back to pick that thing up that you just walked 5 feet over there and dropped so that you could send me to get it type shit? Like, really? Okay, that's annoying, right? But when you're, when you're in the story, though, they have the Mages Guild, they have a Fighters Guild, they have, instead of the companions, they have kind of an Undaunted thing, which is a, heroes doing battle for glory type thing. Go find the hardest monsters you can find to beat, and then beat them and get rewards for it and stuff. But same type of thing, anyway. But you have all the factions and stuff in there, and then you have the different alliances at war with each other too, and that works really, really well because you can go in against other players, and then in the story itself, you see raids from the other alliances in your land, them sending their mages in to turn all your dead into zombies to kill you, and all this other stuff going on. So. Oh wow, this dude's fire breath through the whole tower? Are you serious? Okay. Apparently this dragon's hitbox is just way too big. I need to find an vantage point where I can hit him and he can't hit me. Sorry if that sounds cheap, but it's just the way it's going to have to be, because... Okay, well, let's just... Alright, can I run around the corner before he breathes on me again? This dragon's pissed. I don't think he appreciates getting knocked down. No, 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 no. No, stop, stop. Okay, okay, heals. Yeah, so anyway, long story short, if you're thinking about ESO, go in with the mindset of you're going to get Skyrim, like I say, the feels. The combat's similar, although you're going to have a lot of skills, and you're going to even have combos and other things, MMO style stuff thrown in there, but it's going to remind you a bit of Skyrim. It really is. A lot of the world's going to remind you a bit of Skyrim and Oblivion, maybe even Morrowind and stuff. But as far as the game mechanics go, everything from crafting to stuff like that, there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be things that are going to surprise you with just how deep and involved they are in learning your various skills. Everything from combat to crafting to you name it, making your own food, and you can do all that. And for those that enjoy being able to micromanage all their stuff, it's going to be great for you. But then but maybe not so great is if you don't enjoy the grinding and the gaining experience that's required to level up all those bunches of different skills, then that's probably going to be a bit intimidating. But if you go in there, with an open mind, ready to realize that the scope of that game is a whole lot bigger than what you might be used to, then I think it won't come as such a shock, and you won't be so overwhelmed. And find friends. Definitely make friends while you're there. Make lots and lots of friends. And you'll get good advice, and you'll get bad advice. Not every player's going to play the same. You'll have some players that will insist their way is the best way of doing something. It may not be, at least not for you. But if nothing else, you'll get help to beat some of the harder things in the game. Higher level dungeons, and getting into PvP and getting accustomed to how to use a siege engine, how to take a keep, how to hold a keep, which keeps to grab, which keeps not to grab, which scrolls you need in order to grab other scrolls, and all that stuff, and what gives you bonuses, and all that kind of stuff. And that's just PvP by itself. So there's a lot to think about. Anyway. Alright, we almost got this guy. He's going to hold on to this last little bit of health, isn't he? He can even hit me through that. Well, hopefully he doesn't do that again. I'm not sure what Uthgard's doing right now. If this was Oblivion, my bow would have broken like 3 times already. That's one thing I missed from Elder Scrolls 4 was weapon repairs. Weapon repair your stuff, same like in Fallout 3. Is needing to find gear to either grab spare parts or find smithing hammers so that you can fix your stuff, but you can't fix it in the middle of combat. You have to get through your fight somehow with what gear you've got. When you're low level and all you've got is like a stick and an iron dagger, and you're trying to fight a troll, and it's like, oh no, you swing on that troll about 5 times, and your dagger's broken, and you're like, what am I going to do now? And so you just drop everything and start boxing. Start boxing with the troll. Stuff like that, man. That was awesome. Made you actually have to do a little more planning. I wish they hadn't taken some of that stuff out of here. Okay, I'm gonna let Uthgerd carry some of this stuff.
My thanks. I feel better.
Let her have some of these dragon bones and scales at some point. In fact, let me go grab what we're gonna get out of this dragon. See what he dropped for us. Hopefully we'll start getting some good stuff. Bones and scales. Obviously, I'm not making the armor and stuff with them, so I can sell all these. Somebody asked if I'm going to use arrows. I'm going to try to stick to iron arrows, although if I run out of iron arrows, a lot of times you'll just switch to whatever you may have in your inventory, like whatever arrows you've been hit with lately. You know, if you get hit by, say, some orcish arrows or something, odds are you're going to have a couple in those in your inventory. If they're sticking in your body, apparently you're allowed to have them, which is cool. It's a cool feature, actually. If I have to pay the price for getting stuck with an arrow, I'd at least get to keep it and sell it. But yeah, I'll try to keep making iron arrows for myself. So we'll try to stay true to the whole iron thing. Like I say, I believe the hunting bow and the longbow had the exact same stats. Maybe once you get to higher smithing skills, though, it's possible the hunting bow might get an extra point or two of damage. I don't know. I always kind of thought they were the same. One required firewood, the other one required leather strips, but those are both base materials. And I don't recall them ever having different stats, but I've never specifically gone with either of these bows the duration of the game. Usually my favorite is the Forsworn bow because I like the way it looks and it fits the Forsworn armor. It all just kind of plays together, you know, the teeth and fangs and bones and fur and leather straps and that whole look, that whole barbarian look. I always kind of like that, so I usually grab a Forsworn bow as soon as I can and finish the game with that. But that's considered a steel bow, I believe. That's the next level up for Forsworn. In fact, I think it's like right in between steel and what is it, Dwarven? It's like a little bit better than your regular steel bow, like an Imperial bow, which I believe is the next steel one specifically. But it's not quite as good as a Dwarven bow. It's like a point right in between, or something like that. Anyway, I don't really worry about a point or two here or there. As much as I like the whole min-max thing here, we're going more for I guess a personal challenge or play style on this, so I'm not even going to really worry too much about that. Numbers aren't going to really matter later anyway. Yeah, sure enough, a big Daedric sword would do more than my iron sword, but I'm sticking with iron, so damage is kind of irrelevant. Except where I can buff it with other things, like enchanting my gear properly and stuff like that. Definitely putting enchantments on the weapons themselves. In order to keep base level weapons semi-competitive through the game, you got to buff them with something. I mean, there's got to be something going on here. You know, at least a basic fire or something. Later on, it'll probably be fire on one, frost on the other. I may dual enchant the weapons. I won't be doing things like soul trapping stuff because we're not too much later here in the game as it is. We'll be getting to like Dwarven runes and stuff, and there's soul gems everywhere. If I need to soul trap something to say like fill Azura Star once we get that or something, then I can just cast soul trap. It's not a big deal. Sometimes until I can dual enchant, I'll leave soul trap on my bow and then put extra damage enchantments on my weapons themselves and use the bow essentially to trap souls. I mean, you know, it's nice to do damage from ranged and draw threat from ranged, but it's a great way to fill soul gems from a distance also. If you have just a crap ton of petty ones, well then go out and find mud crabs and go, you know, snipe mud crabs and fill all your petty soul gems, that type of thing. Makes it pretty easy. Although casting soul trap works towards your conjuration, so I try to keep it in mind to do it every once in a while, but I forget. All right, well let's get to Iberstead.
The Legion's always looking for strong, capable warriors.
I don't think I'll ever need to fast travel here, but here's an Imperial camp. Trespassing. There's no way I can actually get them out of my front yard here, so I'll have to leave them be for the time being. Maybe come back and find some way to kill them later. Hopefully. Nice peaceful walk through the woods at night. Oh, I love the music, man. I really do. Honestly, the music makes even walking from point A to point B interesting enough, you know? Keeps me in the game where I'm not like, oh my god, I gotta walk over here. I don't mind, you know? I don't mind exploring a little bit. Most of the time, you're going to see something along the way anyway. Something to divert your attention or, you know, to go explore or discover or something anyway.
Heard they're reforming the Dawn Guard. Vampire hunters or something in the old fort near Riften. I'd consider joining up myself.
We'll get there eventually. Got some things I want to do first. I want to go investigate the Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, at least. You know, I don't even know if I'm going to go mess with the Mages College. I kind of have to interact with them during the course of the Thieves Guild anyway. So probably, I don't think you have to join, but it kind of like at least introduces it to you, encourages you to. That is the most useless storyline in the game to me.
I can't see you, Raiden.
Not a fan. Just not a fan.
Why are you hiding? Oh, thank you. Divines bless your kind heart. Raiden was here, then gone. Went to gather plants and never came home. Nope. Everyone looked and no one could find her. Wilhelm said she'll be back. Told Narfi not to worry. Rada will come back. With Father, I said goodbye. With Mother, I said goodbye. Rada leaves and Narfi can't say goodbye. Makes Narfi very, very sad. Narfi needs Rada to say goodbye. The mountain will eat you.
Now, I'm not sure what the story is with Narfi here. I wonder if he's not, like, I don't know, maybe serial killer type or something. Maybe killed his own parents and didn't get the chance to kill his sister. I know that's kind of a bad edge on that, but there's something up with him. He becomes a target later. I'll just leave it at that. For a reason. Somebody doesn't like Narfi for a reason. Don't know why.
If I were you, I'd keep away from the barrow on the east side of town. It's haunted.
Well, that means we need to go there then.
There ain't much more to tell. They're haunted, and you should stay away. Look, I've seen one of the spirits with my very own eyes. When it glared at me, I swear it burned right through my soul. Fortunately, they seem to be sticking to the barrow. I think they're guarding it. Certainly isn't helping my business any. Who'd want to rent a room anywhere near a haunted barrow? If you think there's anything you can do, be my guest. The Greybeards are a solitary lot. I don't think they've ever ventured outside their monastery. We get the occasional pilgrim passing through here on their way to the summit, but almost all of them have returned disappointed. About a year or two ago, some fella named Windelius came through. Said he was some kind of a treasure hunter. I warned him not to go in there, just like I warned you. The very next night we heard screams from the barrow, and that was it. We never saw him again. He's harmless. He's been in a state ever since his sister Rada disappeared over a year ago. He just keeps to himself in what's left of his folks' farmhouse across the river. I just said that to make the poor guy feel better. I'm pretty sure she's dead. Rada would gather ingredients from the small island in the river east of here. Then one day, she just vanished. I tried to look for her, but she never turned up. I've seen some sort of a cave entrance over there. Folks call it Geierman's Hall, but I don't know why. Probably best if you avoid it for now. It didn't seem to do Rada any good. Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by and left this bounty letter. Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room. Right.
What if this innkeeper is a serial killer and killed Narfi's parents and killed his sister,
Let me know if there's anything else.
and then has a hit out on Nar? Okay, anyway. You never know. You never know with these games.
This has to be the worst place in Skyrim to run a mill. How am I supposed to do anything with all those bears running around? Are you kidding? Those damn things will drive me right out of business. Tell you what, bring me 10 of their pelts from anywhere in Skyrim. I'll gladly pay you for thinning out the herd. The Greybeards stay away from me, and I stay away from them. Suits me just fine. My business is falling apart, my apprentice never listens to me, and now there's talk of dragons. If I hadn't sunk every bit of gold I had into my mill, I would have picked up and left Iverstead long ago. Have you ever seen what a bear does to the trees? They jump on their hind legs and scratch them to bits, marking their territory or something. It's getting to the point where I have to scour Skyrim for untouched trees at the right size. Costs me too much time and money. Now go give those stupid bears what's coming to them.
She really hates bears. I actually, if we get lucky, you might actually be able to get all those pelts.
You don't look like a pilgrim.
Pardon me,
Why
my
bother
lady.
visiting
Would you care to
Iverstead?
hear me play my lute? I play the lute. If you'd like to hear something, it only costs 5 gold. That's so sweet of you. I'll tell you what. I'll play a special song just for you, for no charge at all.
I like Lindley. Actually, there's something involving her later with a guy in Riften. One of the Blackbriar children, I believe.
Have you spoken to Fastbread yet?
No. I'll tell you, Wilhelm. If I could sweep her away from here tomorrow, I'd do it. But Klimek still has so much to learn.
Klimek is doing just fine. You should follow your heart.
Perhaps one day, but not today.
Okay, special song just for us. Awesome.
What do you want?
Alright, speaking of Klimek, that's who we need to go find. Okay, he could be anywhere around here. You know what? Let's go find Narfi's sister, or what's left of her. I believe her remains are right here, somewhere. Okay, actually, you know what? Let me activate this quest and then... We're right on top of it. Alright. I think this is one of those things where we can choose to tell Narf we don't know anything about it and keep this necklace, which is good for little or nothing, but we'll just assume Narfi isn't a serial killer and we'll go give him some peace of mind. In some places in Skyrim, I really like the way they do the water.
My... Oh, Rada, Rada. You live among the clouds now, dear Rada. Rada! You saw Rada? Did you tell her Narfi cries? Did you tell her Narfi never said goodbye like mother and father? Oh no. No, no, no! Narfi never got to say goodbye. Now Narfi's all alone. At least Narfi has Rada's necklace. Reminds Narfi of his sister. Thank you for giving this to Narfi.
All right. More crap. Alchemy ingredients. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, like the water right here. I think they did that really well. And it always has that cold look to it, too. Icy runoff from the snow type thing. Always get that feel here. They did a really good job with that.
You ever settle down to
You know, this is free money, isn't it?
twice?
Since I'm standing right here, one of these people will probably buy this stuff if I just bother to pick it up.
Oh, you're a traveler. You must have so much to tell about the world outside this boring town.
Give me all this. Matter of fact, I'll save that wheat for myself, though.
My daughters. They call it the path to the monastery to 7,000 steps. Can you imagine? I'm not certain if I could even make it to the top without collapsing from exhaustion. Just get out of town as fast as you can. Nothing for anyone here.
I help. I do the chores. What else would you have me? Have anything interesting to tell me? The Greybeards are a strange bunch. I heard they live their entire life without uttering a single word. Can you even imagine? I wish I could go with you.
You must be another pilgrim on the way up to High Hrothgar. Honest pay for honest work.
There we go.
Honest pay for
Give it
honest
here.
work.
Give me all that.
Honest pay for honest work. It's frightening living below their monastery. Sometimes I swear I can hear strange noises rolling down from up there. It sounds like thunder, but there's never any rain. What do you make of that? Sure, leave. Everyone else does.
Oh, that's the same thing one of those ladies in, that lady living by herself in Fallout 3, up on the bridge, where they're getting attacked by the vampires. Oh, Arafu? 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 Is that it? It's the same line she says. Go ahead and leave, everyone else does.
Steps again, Clement.
Passing through on your way to High Hrothgar? About to make a delivery up there myself. Mostly food supplies like dried fish and salted meats. You know, things that keep fresh for a long time. The Greybeards tend not to get out much, if you catch my meaning. Well, it's kind of an understanding between us. I mean, it just wouldn't feel right to charge them for a bit of preserved food. Trouble is, my legs aren't what they used to be, and climbing the 7,000 steps takes its toll. Really? Well, that would be kind of you. Here, take this bag of supplies. At the top of the steps, you'll see the offering chest. Just leave the bag inside, and you're done. Well, there's the occasional wolf pack or stray, but that's all I've ever had to deal with. Shouldn't be a problem for the likes of you. Other than that, watch your footing. In these wintry conditions, the stairs can be treacherous. I've been to the monastery many times, but I've never even laid eyes on one of the Greybeards. Not that I'd care to. Being masters of Bethune, they could kill you by uttering a single word. Well, not that they would. They seem peaceful, but I wouldn't want to provoke them. Be careful.
Alright, we're fixing to go find out what that's all about. We'll climb the 7,000 steps on the next one and actually get a bit of real history.
Perhaps one day.
Alright, nice view. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. Thanks for watching. And if you want to catch the rest of this Let's Play up to this point, then click that image there in the middle. It'll send you right to the playlist. Alright, y'all take care.